from the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I'm Clint.
I'm Barry.
And on this week's episode, we're gonna have a pretty good split 50-50 of Disney and Universal stuff this episode. We're gonna start off talking about some Tiana's Bayou Adventure news. We got an opening date and passholder preview dates and that sort of thing. I'll discuss DreamWorks Land, which Universal invited us out to get a preview for, and then we'll dive into some HHN goodies. As I've been trying to do before we get going here. Janine had some personal things, so she unfortunately is not going to be able to join us this week. So Barry and I are holding down the old podcast fort this week, which we can do on our own. So hopefully Janine will be back with us next week and rocking and rolling. So you know what, Barry, you went on that. Did you want to talk about that cruise? Fireworks cruise that you went on. You want to spend a few minutes talking about how was that?
That was interesting. Thanks to a friend, went on a happily ever after fireworks cruise this past weekend, and the one we took left from the Grand Floridian, and it's really nice because they give you the reservation, you just show it to security, and they let you park there. Which is always nice to be able to park at a monorail resort.
Yeah.
You basically get on one of the pontoon boats. The prices start at like $449 for up to 10 people. And really, if you have 10 people for around that price,
I'm trying to do the math.
$449, so it's basically $45 each.
I was going to say about $45-50 a person.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly how much she paid. I'm sure it varies depending on time of year and stuff.
Availability and stuff.
You go out. The boat is loaded with soft drinks and snacks. Any of the ones you don't use, you get to take with you once you get back. The coolest part to me, they take you on a cruise around Seven Seas Lagoon and Bay Lake. You go all the way to past the Polynesian, over to by Wilderness Lodge, and all the way out to Fort Wilderness.
Oh wow!
As the sun is setting. So, and it was
really pretty.
It was really pretty, and really, even though it had been, very hot today, it was fairly cool out on the water. Which is it's always a little bit cooler out on the water. But then they get you around. Then you also get to go past the electrical pageant up close. Yeah, which you get to see that maybe once in a while when you're
leaving.
When you're taking a boat from Magic Kingdom to the Polynesian.
Yeah.
If you time it right, you'll be able to get up close. But you got to go up close to the electrical water pageant, and then they take you out right in front of the Magic Kingdom, basically in that middle area in between the resort launches and the ferry boats. You're right there.
They drop anchor, and
they don't drop anchor for this one. I know for the Epcot one, I believe they drop anchor because I think they don't drop anchor because they have to worry because there is boat traffic going by the whole time. So
that's true.
I'm guessing that's why they don't drop anchor for this. So that would be my one negative about the whole experience is the fact that, as the fireworks are going, they have to pop the engine on from time to time
to get you back in
position. And the only other negative we had is the transmitter, I guess, wasn't working on our boat because you're supposed to get the audio from the fireworks. But luckily, the boats, there was I think 6 boats out there. They're all right next to each other. So we actually could hear the audio coming from the other boat. And there is a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Just from the fact that you can get a little reverb because you can still hear some of the audio from the park. But it was really neat to watch Happily Ever After from the water because you get the reflection off the water, and it was a really neat experience. And then as soon as the fireworks are done, they take you back to the dock. And it was definitely, I think it's something, especially if you can get 10 people to do it.
$50 a pop.
Yeah, that's not a bad deal for like a basically boat cruise, a private boat cruise.
Yeah.
That lasts about, I guess total, it's about, at least that night we went, about an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Total. So
that's cool that they take you around kind of the Seven Seas Lagoon. I bet you that's really pretty.
No, that was really neat to be. I took a bunch of pictures of and the sunset Friday night was actually pretty nice sunset. So
yeah, that's cool. All right, so speaking of Magic Kingdom, like I said, we're gonna discuss some news about Tiana's Bayou Adventure here. First things first, let's talk about the opening date. The opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure here at Magic Kingdom is June 28th. So mark your calendars for that day. I think park passes are already sold out, and the
for
whole
that
9.
day.
The not so good news, if you're not a fan of virtual queues, it will use a virtual queue at the same times as the other ones, 7 a.m. and 1 p.m.
But we also have been told that's only going to be for a certain amount of time. That attraction has gigantic capacity.
Yeah, that's what I was telling a lot of people. Everybody, well, they worded it. They had a little verbiage in the Disney Parks blog post that said Disney also mentions that, well, this is kind of what we were saying, that a standby queue will not be available during the attraction's initial opening days. They expect to open a standby queue soon after the attraction's opening, which we haven't really had for. They've never said that for Tron. They never said that for Guardians, both of which are still in virtual queue.
2 years later, Guardians is still in
I
virtual
am absolutely
queue.
shocked that Guardians is still in virtual queue. I don't know.
Don't get me started, and it's definitely something I feel like I've seen more and more people talk about is the fact that attraction is still in virtual queue. And I understand it works great for them from an operation standpoint, but from a customer standpoint, I really don't think that is a great thing because you can't jump in line right before close.
Yeah.
So to me, you're not letting as many people get on that attraction as it could. And we've heard reports like the last hour a lot of times they're sometimes sending out empty trains because not enough people are coming through. But I think Tron's virtual queue is not going anywhere because its capacity is pretty good for a coaster, but it's not up there. It's not a people eater, and I think they're worried about. They already have like with virtual queue often sometimes an hour wait, and if they got rid of virtual queue, you're talking about it's funny because it'll be like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train with 2 to 3 hour waits.
And then the other interesting thing was for the pass holder preview. The pass holder preview is going to be using a virtual queue for the first time. And pass holder previews will take place on June 13th, 14th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and the 20th. And this is where it gets kind of a little confusing. The 7 a.m. virtual queue will be available to pass holders with a park reservation at Magic Kingdom Park for that day. The 1 p.m. virtual queue will be available to pass holders with a park reservation to any theme park for that day. Why do you think Disney went with a virtual queue this time with the?
Well, for those of us who tried to get a reservation for one of those days, I'm sure some of you are well aware, it sort of crashed the reservation system to the point that they had to institute a queue for you just to get into the reservation system. I was lucky enough to get a reservation, and I think the only reason I was lucky is because I happened to have one of the Mondays off, one of the pass order preview days. That's a Monday because I'm working filling in on the weekend that week. So I was able to get a Monday reservation. When I tried to get in again to make another reservation, all the Magic Kingdom ones were gone. And so I'm also off that Tuesday. I just made another reservation for that. Because that's the interesting thing is, it's according to what they said, you just have to have a reservation for any park for that 1 p.m. queue.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to be in a park. So it's interesting that they're doing this way. I think one of the reasons is just because the sheer amount of capacity that attraction has probably is going to work better, because then also they can release more group numbers if they need to.
Yeah.
So I think as much as it was a fun time trying to get a reservation, I mean, it's all, when we've done pass holder previews before, it's unless you got in like as soon as they posted, it was, you ended up in a queue anyway for those too. And it's like, yes, you got to do 2 steps now, but I think almost that this is almost a fairer system because this gives you a shot, even if you didn't get a reservation for Magic Kingdom, it gives you a shot at getting in to the queue period. Like I said, but I don't think they would have done it this way if it wasn't for the sheer fact that this attraction has a very high capacity.
Yeah, I think that's why we're seeing all the different things with the virtual queues and everything. Them mentioning that the virtual queue is going to be very limited. I mean, it's not a brand new ride. It's the same ride that Splash Mountain was. I mean, obviously they got to do testing with the new animatronics and stuff like that, but the ride's going to have.
And it seems to me, based on those pass holder previews, unless they're going to announce some additional other previews, there might end up being some soft openings with just a standby queue before this attraction officially opens.
For those of you watching the video version of the podcast, Disney released these few new images of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I think the ride looks fantastic. You know, all the different, especially the nighttime video we've been seeing of all the kind of swamp lights and all the different colors, the pinks and the purples and the greens.
It's stunning at night, and as much as I think some of us liked the original concept art that had Mama Odie's tree on top,
yeah,
this does a better job of sort of disguising the mountain as part of a bayou than I feel like that previous one did. In the end, this is a water ride.
Yeah.
With a drop. There's going to be a lot of people who still not going to want to ride this ride because it's like, but it's, I think they've done an amazing job. And I think based on everything we've seen so far, I think, you know, we've obviously had a lot of FOMO lately, seeing all that Fantasy Springs stuff. I think the inside this attraction, I think, is going to shock and blow a lot of people away of the level of detail this attraction has for a U.S. park, which we've often complained about. There's going to be a lot of animatronics in this thing, and they're all brand new, state of the art animatronics. They didn't reuse anything.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, this is going to set a bar, I feel like, when it comes to a new animatronic attraction.
I hope so. I'm
in
excited.
The U.S. parks. And
we got a sneak peek of the rides on-ride photo, which for those of you watching the video version can check it out there. It looks like they're going with I think gone are the days of the wider on-ride photo where they just shot the whole area and got it, and they're using more of these. I'm guessing they use AI to capture the ride vehicle and put it in one of these like superimposed, you know.
Well, it used to be like a template when they would do stuff like this.
Yeah, you would buy the on-ride photo and they would slap it in the thing.
Now
the border would actually be a physical border on the.
Yeah, I'm sure now it's just a program. It's just software that does this, and you know, it gives you. I think going with a rare photo that, you know, people gotten so used to taking their own photos or stuff like that. You need to have something unique with an on-ride photo. It's just something. I think it's something different, especially because, you know, you know, photo pass costs money.
Yeah.
And you want something unique for that photo pass. And I think it's cute. And like I said, I think I am excited. You know, we are going to be there for the media event, and we can't wait.
I'm super.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited to check this ride out. I love Princess and the Frog, the movie. The fact that we're getting, you know, like you said, a new attraction with state-of-the-art animatronics,
an original attraction.
Yeah, I am
with a storyline that's
music,
not a book report.
A few more tidbits of information on Tiana's Bayou Adventure. There is a D23 Gold member event. It'll be happening on June 22nd.
Yeah, that
tickets
sold out.
Actually went
like
out for that. So yeah, it sold out.
15 minutes or something.
Tickets were like $60. They did announce that Tiana's beignets, covered with honey and powdered sugar, will be available starting opening day, June 28th, for a limited time. So they're not going to be permanent at Golden Oak Outpost in the Friar's Nook.
I have a feeling in the future we're going to see something when it comes to Tiana and food.
Some kind of permanent dining.
Some type of permanent thing, and they're going to have to find a way to make the beignets permanent. And I hope they're mobile order, because I know when they did that experiment for 1 month back in February, the line was like long.
Yeah.
Every day. And also the closed at like 5 or 6 every day. So
yeah. Moving on over to Universal Studios, ThrillGeek, we were invited out to a preview of the new DreamWorks Land at Universal Studios Florida. And I got about an hour or so to kind of go around the land and check things out. Not all things are open. Like, we couldn't go up on the second story of the play area, Shrek's swamp play area. And but for the most part, you know, a big chunk of everything was pretty operational for us to check out. I loved it. It's a huge update to what was there before with Fievel and Curious George, which just was, you know, there were a lot of people saying, oh, it looks cheap, it looks that, it looks this. And like, listen, my 7 or 9-year-old kid doesn't care how cheap this looks. You got Shrek now, you got Trolls, and you got Kung Fu Panda. Kids are absolutely going to lose their mind in this land. One of the food places, the main food place, I should say, is Swamp Snacks. And we got to try the Shrexel, which is something that doesn't necessarily roll off the tongue. But it's just a pretzel with green cheese sauce, which was interesting. It was interesting eating a pretzel with green cheese. And then there's a swamp dog, which is described as oozing green cheese hot dog wrapped in pizza tree bark. A farfar, a waffle, which you can get pepperoni or ham and cheese. There's a mud puddle pudding, which is basically like a cup of pudding. You can see it here in the picture. And I'm guessing it comes with that little shovel, which is really kind of cute. And then there's a couple of ice pops. There is the frozen ogre and the chonky donkey. The frozen ogre is sour apple, and the chonky donkey is a chocolate ice pop. A few people got I know Jackie super enthused. She got the sour apple one, and she said it was pretty good. I don't know if anybody got the chocolate donkey, chonky donkey one. Yeah, Shrek Swamp play area, very Camp Jurassic, lots of rope climbing areas. The Shrek outhouse slide is fantastic, and I watched the video today. Apparently, it makes like a farting noise.
Yep.
Goes down, which I was like, only Universal would do this, and it's so fantastic.
No, there's gonna be a lot of giggling kids.
Yeah, and Pinocchio's in there. You can hit a button, and Pinocchio will give you a quote unquote fact, which is obviously he's lying. And every time he gives this fact to you, his nose grows, which is pretty funny. There is the King Harold Swamp Symphony, which this area features all these little lily pads kids can jump on, and each frog. Each frog sings a little different tune, which is a really cute, fun little play area for the kids. And then Mama Luna's, I don't think I got a picture of this for the video version. Yeah, I don't have a picture. Mama Luna's Feline Fiesta is this kind of interactive area. She's for if you're not brushed up on your Shrek Puss in Boots knowledge, she's from Puss in Boots, and this is kind of an interactive area with. It's basically, I'm guessing it's her house. I haven't seen the latest Puss in Boots movie, so I don't know if she's big in that one. But there's all these screens.
If I remember, so she's part of that movie.
Yeah, there's all these screens with cats on it, kind of going around the house, and you have all sorts of levers and buttons, and you push the buttons and you pull the levers, and the cats do all sorts of silly little things. Really fun little hands-on area for the kids. Over in Trolls, this is the Trolls Poppy's Playground, I think this was called. Yeah, Poppy's Playground. And then there's Trolls Treats, which is I guess it's ice cream soft serve place where you can get like Trolls. So. There's Poppylicious Pink, which is pink lemonade soft serve with flour sprinkles, and then the Brozone Berry, which is Huckleberry soft serve. Unfortunately, that was not open, and I was looking forward to the pink lemonade soft serve. Sounds rather interesting. Rest in peace, Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster. It is now Trolls Troller Coaster, and same ride, just new paint jobs, some little theming throughout it, which I rode a couple times, and it's a great kiddie coaster. You know, it's good to have that one back
with a nightmare fuel first car.
Yeah, the train on that thing is very interesting. It's themed to one of the caterpillars in the Trolls.
Yeah, well, they ride the caterpillars. That's how they get around. And
they got these movies. Big beady eyes, and they're slightly terrifying.
Yeah, it looks way cuter in the animation in the movie
than on a roller coaster car.
I think one of the things I've definitely gotten from everything that you got to see is just this land is very interactive.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands-on.
And whether that this land's a test for some other things that may be an epic, who knows? Who knows how long this land's going to be around, but I love how, especially in this day and age, having so many interactive things, because that's really how you engage kids. You give them things to jump on, things to touch, pull,
levers, buttons,
levers, stuff like that works really well. And I think a lot of places have tried to pull that off and haven't done as good of a job, so I'll be interested to see how well the average public ends up reacting to this land.
And then obviously back in the back of the section, in the former Curious George section, which a lot of the structure remained from the Curious George ball area, That is now Poe Live. When you walked inside the indoor, I guess you could call it indoor part of the ball pit where they had all the cannons that shot the balls out and everything. That's all gone, and now in there is Poe Live, and it's basically like Turtle Talk with Crush, but Poe. He comes out and he does a live segment where you can talk to him and you can ask him questions. And he's babysitting Ling Ling. She'll pop up on the screen and he tells you, hey, if you see Ling Ling, let me know. And so it's very interactive, very cute. The voice actor that they had for when we saw it was like spot on for Jack Black. Like I was almost convinced it was Jack Black back there doing the voiceover. He was really good. Mr. Ping's Noodle Caboodle, which is, again, like Barry was saying, a very hands-on, interactive kids area. They have these little bowls that look like noodle bowls. I guess the kids can sit in them and spin them. There's noodles hanging down from the ceiling that the kids can swing on. And just all sorts of really fun hands-on stuff for the little kids and adults. There's splash pads all over the place. There's one in Shrek. And then there is one back here in the Poe's Kung Fu training camp area called the Pond of Perpetual Wetness. And I think that's about it. DreamWorks Imagination Celebration is the new show which was in the DreamWorks Destination. I forgot what it was called before. DreamWorks Destination Theater, DreamWorks.
It's where Barney used to be.
Where Barney used to be.
Where the dance party was.
Yeah, it was basically like a DreamWorks dance party before. Barry pretty much nailed it. It was music, and they had some of the DreamWorks characters come out. The DreamWorks Imagination Celebration is still kind of that, but it's got a little bit more cohesive of a story. Very simple for kids to understand. It's about these two kids that are friends, and in our show it was a guy and a girl, and she was trying to help the boy get his imagination back. So then they start looking in the clouds, and they would see Poe, and then the Kung Fu Panda segment would happen. And then they would see something else in the sky that would resemble trolls. The part that really impressed me was the Shrek segment at the beginning, because it features puppets now. For those of you watching the video version, you can see here they have a giant puppet of the dragon from Shrek, Donkey's girlfriend, and they also have a donkey puppet. And I'm not talking like a simple little hand puppet. These are almost like Disney quality, like you would see at I'm trying to think of a Disney-ish puppet that would be like this.
I mean, it's similar to Bruce in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But really cool show, a huge update from what was there before. The only segment that has the puppets is the Shrek segment, because I think it went Shrek, Trolls, and then Kung Fu Panda, if I remember correctly. We weren't allowed to film the show in its entirety for the media preview. But if you guys go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ThrillGeek, I have a huge video of a huge overall video of the entire land. Be sure to check that out, and I have some highlight clips from the DreamWorks Imagination Celebration. So overall, like I said, it's a huge update to the area. Gives it a fresh coat of paint. And I think the kids are absolutely going to eat this land up. It's a really good update for what that area needed.
No, that area was really a outdated, dead part of the park. Finally, get some DreamWorks really into the parks, because Universal does own DreamWorks now.
Yeah,
and like I said, I think how many years this land lasts, we'll see, because I feel at some point, some DreamWorks stuff is going to get a bigger full-blown attraction, much like How to Train Your Dragon is getting over in Epic Universe. And they've got a lot of stuff they can work with DreamWorks, on top of all the Illumination stuff. So it's definitely a much needed thing with the studios. And like we've talked about on the floor, I expect after Epic opens the next 5 years or so, you're going to see a lot of construction walls in the studio park, unfortunately, because there's a lot of stuff that needs updating in that park.
But yeah, no, I liked it. It's going to be a hit with the family, with the little ones, which Universal Studios Florida needs. There's a lot of people that are always there's not a lot for the little ones to do in Universal Studios Florida. And this is a huge edition in that respect. So let's keep it over at Universal Studios Florida, but let's talk about our favorite subject, Halloween Horror Nights 2024. First things first, I think Universal and the Halloween Horror Nights marketing people were just trolling with us with this video. I wanted to spend a few minutes kind of discussing what exactly this video was, because we don't know what it is. That's just it. It was for those of you that saw the video, I'm talking about the one that had the guy sweeping the mopping up the floor in the park. And, they've been teasing this whole underground thing, and the camera goes underground and the door blasts off. I forgot what did they say when they posted it online? They said the gates are open, or the...
Yeah, something along that lines. And we can talk about, if you're watching the video version, and it's been seen on social media, the monster that's in the reflection of the rain underneath the arch looks very, very similar to something from Legendary Truth, Boris Schuster, like the deep lore of Halloween Horror Nights.
I haven't heard this theory.
I mean, that thing looks very hell beasty.
Yeah.
I remember at the end of the Legendary Truth house, there was that sort of hell creature at the end. This is at least my idea. I mean, if we're going to get into, we've heard a lot of rumors this year, there's going to be some deep lore original stuff this year.
Which I'm all for.
Which, yeah, we're all for. We've heard rumors that there may be 6 original houses this year. Instead of the usual 5-5 split.
Yeah.
Someone who is a Halloween Horror Nights fan, I am all for original houses, sequels, anything that, whether it's a sequel or whether it's a spinoff of some other part of the Halloween Horror Nights lore. As much as I do love some of our IPs, I would rather have a bunch of original houses.
Yeah, every single year, as much as I love the IPs, don't get me wrong.
No.
In me saying this, I always fall in love with the originals. It's just, I think that's just the way I am.
Most years, it's my favorite houses are the originals. Like I said, there's been some years where, like, we all know the year Poltergeist. That was that's probably still my all-time favorite IP house ever.
How much is that house?
But yeah, no, I mean, whether each year now there is a whole marketing campaign around stuff, and clearly they're going with this year of the horrors are underneath the park and they're getting out.
Yeah, I mean, the only theory that I thought this was, and some people agreed with me, was they're expanding on that whole evil takes root thing theme that they went with back so many years ago. I'm not going to sit here and brainstorm when it was, because all the years are just a big blur to me now. Obviously, this was not IP themed, because it would have had, it's not. There were a lot of people like, oh, it's Stranger Things because of the red sky when it pans up at the end. And I was like, no, Netflix would have had their logo sprayed all over this thing if it was Stranger Things. So this was clearly something original, because there was no announcement. It was just this video of this guy mopping the floor, then that goes underground, and at the end you see this reflection in the water with this thing with all the teeth and everything. And
and
it was great. It gave me very. It kind of ignited that spark in me that I loved about Horror Nights many years back, about that lore kind of story kind of stuff.
No, it makes you speculate. It's because those of us who are big fans wish they would just not, wish they would let some of the icons loose on non-anniversary years.
Yeah.
Could this be fear? Could this be fear unleashing something new onto Halloween Horror Nights? They know the fan base, but they know this is going to cause speculation, and it will tie in some way. These marketing campaigns always do tie in.
Oh yeah,
somehow.
Yeah.
The event is the IP now. We've talked about this countless times, that the event is the IP. I'm glad when we're about to talk about the first announcement, I'm glad we finally got an announcement, because I just feel like sometimes Universal's always been like close to the vest when it comes to announcing stuff. And I feel like in this day and age, it's like with the way people plan vacations, is like you can't wait so long.
Yeah.
To announce things. It's like, I know sometimes it's about some stuff not being fully locked down. I know people would be shocked to find out sometimes some IPs how like late in the game they are locked down. But it's the, like I said, the event's the IP itself, and it's like sometimes they need to get a little bit further along, announce stuff way further in advance.
Yeah.
Because it's like people, as much as the event is the IP, there's still a lot of people out there who will not book a vacation package until they know what's coming. So
Yeah.
it's your average guest. They got the hardcores. They're not going away.
They got our money.
They've got our money,
They got our
local
money
wise,
when
and they've got the hardcores who travel. We have various friends who travel from the UK every year to come to Halloween Horror Nights. So they've got those people, but it's the average guest that I feel like sometimes this waiting till this slowly dishing announcement things out, it doesn't work. People want to plan.
Yeah.
As much as we sometimes make fun of Disney of releasing stuff months in advance.
Yeah.
There's a reason they do that.
Yeah.
Because people want to know what they're getting before they pay a bunch of money to go to it. So
before we get to the announcement, they also dropped some new merchandise. This is the second T-shirt that they came out with. Again, very kind of punk-ish, kind of 90s kind of.
I love this, by the way.
Do you like this shirt?
I like this way better than the other one that came out.
They got rid of they got it's not blind you orange. It's kind of that black kind of washed color shirt. Yeah, I kind of like this one. It's got a good vibe to it.
And they sort of use this to really troll everybody in the beginning of that day.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, here's the announcement. We got a new shirt.
And
womp, I guess as we get to the announcement here, I don't know why some of us didn't think that this was going to happen, because it hasn't happened in the past. For those of you who do know, out in Southern California, they have an event called Midsummer Scream that happens, I think, in July. And usually Universal Hollywood, their Horror Nights, has a panel there, and they usually announce something every year. Well, the last 2 years, Spooky Empire, which was this past weekend, has had a Horror Nights panel.
But they've never
this
announced
year,
anything.
They've never announced anything. This year on Friday, though, they did.
We got our first announcement, which is not an IP, which is really interesting. I can't remember how far. I had to go far. I still couldn't remember the last time we got an original announced first.
No, because last
Usually
year
we get IPs.
Last year we got Chucky announced on closing night.
It was like closing night. They announced Chucky.
the previous year before last.
Even in the regular announcement season,
it's
always IPs
an IP
first.
Yeah,
yeah,
always IP first.
And we usually get originals last. So, but yeah, at Spooky Empire, Universal Orlando Resort announced Slaughter Sinema 2 will be coming to Halloween Horror Nights 2024. And yeah, like I said, I can't remember the last time we got an original announced first. Barry, what are your thoughts on Slaughter Sinema? What did you think of the first one?
It was a comedy horror house.
Yeah, Cult of the Beast, baby.
It was a Charles Gray house, for those of you who know some of the creators behind Halloween Horror Nights. No, it was fun because it was basically original B movie ideas, and each section of the house was supposed to be like a scene from that B movie. And there were also concepts in that house, posters for that house that weren't in the house. So it'll be interesting to see if some of those things show up in Slaughter Sinema too. But I expect this to be a fun, just for lack of a better term, a fun house. No, I'm excited for a new Slaughter Sinema. It was for that year. It was a very fun house. Wasn't super scary, but the
like
fun
you said,
house.
It was very much the comedy horror.
Yeah, the comedy horror houses usually aren't, but it had a lot of really fun original ideas in the house. Had the Yetis in it. So it'll be interesting to see what we get with this year's Slaughter Sinema, and I'm going to assume that this is one of the sprung tent houses, unless they try to do something different.
I don't know if they
soundstage.
Yeah, I don't know if they asked that question or they answered that question during the panel.
I don't think
I saw somebody mention that it was going to be in one of the original tents. But that I don't think
it would make
confirmed.
sense.
But yeah, they gave a brief description. It says, if you're dying for a B horror movie marathon, head to the Cary Drive-In. So we got confirmation that this will take place once again in the Cary Drive-In. It says screen through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. I have a question. What is a spaghetti western?
They were westerns from, I believe, the 60s. They were shot in Italy. They're called spaghetti westerns because they were shot in Italy.
Oh.
Usually on the cheap. Usually starring like B-level or TV actors from that time. if you watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino film,
Yeah.
DiCaprio's character, he goes to Italy to shoot a spaghetti
okay.
western.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
They're also, I mean, yeah. So it was known for that time of that's why they're called spaghetti westerns.
Yeah,
because they're actually
interesting.
shot in Italy.
It's speaking of time frames. I can't remember. Were all the movies, or Cult of the Beast Baby, the Amazon Cannibals from Planet Hell, Pumpkin Guts? Am I missing one? I can't remember. I can't remember if those were all set in the specific time frame, and I'm kind of figuring out if.
I mean, the design of everything, like all the posters it's a very 70s feel.
Yeah.
At least at the time, if I remember correctly. I don't know if they were all set in a certain time frame outside of what some of them were set in Cary, I think. So it's I'm sure if we're wrong about this, someone will say.
Yeah.
But no, I mean they all, the idea of the B movie horror film, the look of the posters all had like a 1970s or early 80s style look to them.
Yeah. Slaughter Sinema was a huge house. I mean, it was, I know a lot of the people in the HHN, kind of hardcore community, HHN community like we are, and we're really, invested in it and enjoy it. Some of the content creators, and I always hear Slaughter Sinema come up as a sequel house. It's fantastic to see that we're getting it. I'm excited for it. I think it should be a good time. If I think they did say Charles Gray is going to be behind this one. It'll be a hit with him being.
Oh no, I'm excited for it, and like I said, we love the original houses, and like I said, we love the lore, so we love it when we get sequels sometimes. And
is there a house, Barry, that you is there a house you've ever wanted a sequel to? If you
see that then you got to make me try to remember stuff.
Yeah, you got to go back
because I'm so bad about remembering like the names of because it's good Lord, you and I have been covered. You've been going it since the beginning, and I've been going to it since 15. I think everything is a blur.
I would love to see a sequel. I could go a few. I would love to see a sequel to Dollhouse of the Damned.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I know Dead Exposure would be another one that I'd want a sequel to.
Yeah, no, I love the last one. I don't know if we'll ever have a virus house again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, much like we will never have an asylum house again.
Yeah.
So it's
put some thought.
Even if not like a sequel, I would like. What was the holiday one Hollywood had last year?
Was that Holidays from Hell or something?
Hell or something? I would love to have something like that here. I mean, we had the basically what the last one where the inmates escaped the asylum, that was set during Christmas, and I would definitely remember that being fun because they had just people being slaughtered and opening presents and stuff like that, and I like the idea of like twisted holidays. I would love for them to do something like that over here.
Yeah, I mean, we got Krampus. That's about as close as we've gotten.
Yeah, we've got like I said, we've gotten Krampus, and we got the one I'm forgetting the name of where the inmates escaped the asylum years ago.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that one specifically. Like you said, it's all such a blur to us. So
that's from like 2008 or 9, I think. So yeah, I'm not going to remember the names.
Yeah, 10, 15 years ago, which is kind of scary. 2009, 15 years ago, 14 years ago, whatever. God. So that would be an interesting podcast episode with Janine. We could go back all the years and just write down houses we'd like sequels to, and just kind of.
Oh no, yeah, I think we definitely need to put that one in because that's going to require research.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe as HHN season gets closer here, maybe that's a fun one we could do.
Let's put that in the thing, and then we can all go through the wiki and
I think that would be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna write that down here. So
yes,
I think we're good. That's it. Yeah, I think we're good. So we can wrap this up. I don't have any more slides, so that means we're done there. I can get rid of that, and we can get on out of here and wrap it up here. Barry, you want to do where can everybody follow you, and then ThrillGeek?
I am at Culture and Thrills on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And you can follow at ThrillGeek on all major social media channels, youtube.com/ThrillGeek. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And of course, ThrillGeek.com for the latest in theme park and pop culture news. And trust me, we have a lot of stuff coming up in the next few weeks.
Yeah, the first week and a half or 2 weeks of June are going to be insane.
It's going to be all on our social media, and also we might write a few articles.
So yeah, make sure you're following us everywhere, guys. You can follow me on my personal account. I am CG83 on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to follow me there, feel free to. But follow ThrillGeek everywhere, and be sure to check out the DreamWorks Land video on YouTube. I cover it pretty much from head to toe, and it's a really good insider's look at that new expansion. So thanks so much again for listening. If you do listen to us on Apple Podcasts, as always, make sure you guys give us a little 5-star review and help out our review rating, and we greatly appreciate that. And so we'll see you guys next time. Take care, be safe, bye-bye.
See you in the parks. Stay safe.